Hello everyone, American Sports 365. Here with me once again is my colleague Alex. So, Arsenal traveled to the Etihad Stadium to play Man City in a very important game. Fortunately, Arsenal failed to get anything out of that game again as Man City won 4-1. It's definitely a really bad defeat. It's a bad run of form, and it's going to be really difficult for Arsenal to win the title now as Man City would have to drop points in several of their remaining Premier League games. Before we get any further, what are your thoughts on the game?
Oh man, yeah, it was extremely disappointing. Again, at least this time it wasn't exactly surprising, to be honest with you. Manchester City just thoroughly outplayed us. I mean, they showed that they had more talent on the roster. Not like that was ever up for debate. Like you said, we would. Might be a bit of an exaggeration to say that we would need a minor miracle to win the title at this point, but we definitely need to get some help from Manchester City, and that seems pretty unlikely.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for Arsenal to win the title. At this point, they have to win all of their remaining games, and City have to drop points in multiple games. So yeah, definitely very disappointing, and Arsenal really have to get back to winning ways in the next match and for this season to have any chance of winning the title. So, in terms of positives, there weren't many, to be totally honest. One of them was that Holding did get on the score sheet. It was already 3-0 Manchester City at that point, though, so it was really just a consolation goal. But did make some sort of impact, even though I think the defense overall was not very good. But yeah, so that's one positive take away from that. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, like I said, the defense is bad overall. I mean, Holding did score a goal, so he did do something positive in this match. I mean, it doesn't really change the fact that he's not really good enough, and that he's one of the big reasons that Arsenal have probably thrown away the best chance that they'll have to win a title for I don't know how long.
Like I said, considering the situation in the game, it's really just a consolation goal, and yeah, unfortunately, Arteta doesn't have much choice but to start Holding or change the formation given the injuries to Arsenal's defensive personnel. But yeah, he's definitely hasn't played well enough overall, and it's definitely hurt the team. But he did do something in this game at least. And one bigger positive in this game was Ramsdale. If you just look at the score, you might think they didn't really have a good game, but to be honest, our midfield and defense was putting under way too much pressure. He ended up making 5 saves in the game, so overall he had a good performance despite Arsenal conceding 4 goals. I wouldn't really say any of that was down to him. So your thoughts on Ramsdale's performance in this game?
Yeah, I'm not really surprised that Ramsdale played well. He's been one of Arsenal's most consistent performers. I mean, he hasn't, it's not like he's played well every single match this season, but he's at least been good, if not excellent, in the vast majority of matches this season. So I'm not surprised that, he was good, even though the rest of the team kind of let him down, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I said, you can't really criticize much about his performance. Like I said, his defense just put them under way too much pressure for basically the entire match. So, yeah, the result really isn't on him. He did what he could, and if the defense had been better, then it might have been a different result given his performance in this game. Now, in terms of negatives, fortunately there were no shortage of those. One negative that was quite clear is that Arsenal definitely played this game with a fear of Manchester City. They definitely didn't seem confident or particularly composed in this game. And when you're heading into a fixture like this, with a mindset like that, it's pretty much impossible to get points. It's very difficult enough already, but that kind of mindset really contributes to bad results. What are your thoughts on the mental side of this match as far as Arsenal goes?
Yeah, you're right. We did play this match with sort of fear of Manchester City. That's totally the wrong mindset. I mean, really always the wrong mindset, especially when you're playing against a top team with a lot of great players. I mean, that sort of mindset's just going to lead to a lot of mistakes and overly conservative play and stuff. And, to be honest, when it's a mindset across the team like that, it actually comes down to Arteta, to the manager, because the manager has to instill not just the right tactics, but also the right mindset into the players before a match. And Arteta clearly did not do that before this match.
Yeah, that's true. If it was one or two players, then it's more down to them. But when it's the team in general, then you definitely have to look at the manager, and I think Arteta did an adequate job of mentally preparing them for the task ahead in this match. Now, there were a number of poor performers, but I think in terms of midfield, Partey was the worst. Really let De Bruyne dictate the game way too much, and he was getting forward way too easily, and creating chances for Manchester City. Partey really did not do a good job of closing him down, unfortunately, and he's had a couple of poor performances in a row lately, to be honest. So I think it might be time to consider a change in midfield, at least give it some serious thought. But in any case, he did not play well in this game, unfortunately. What are your thoughts on Partey's performance in this game?
Yeah, like you said, it was poor, and he has been poor for the last couple of matches, which has been pretty surprising because he was very good for the entire season, up until the last few matches. We really needed him to keep up his level of performance. So very, very disappointing from Partey, not just in this match, but in the last couple of matches.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Partey's definitely going to have to step it up for the remainder of the season, or Arteta will have to look at some other options in his position, probably Jorginho. So, I think that's really the situation. So, Arsenal's attack was not very good in this game. Arsenal only managed 2 shots on target in the entire match. So really did not make Ederson work too hard in this match, unfortunately. And just struggled to create chances overall, and definitely did not do a very good job of getting those shots on target when they did happen. What are your thoughts on Arsenal's attack only managing a couple of shots on target for the whole game?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty pathetic to only have 2 shots on target for the entire match. I understand Manchester City are a very strong team in every area of the pitch, and you're going to have to make your chances count when you're playing against City because they're likely not going to let you have too many chances. I mean, you can't really do much with only 2 shots on goal. I mean, that's just not anywhere near enough. And, that really speaks to failures on parts of both the forwards to actually put the shots on target and the midfielders because they didn't give the forwards the service they needed to create those chances.
Yeah, and it was sort of a synergy, I guess, in the worst possible way. Definitely problems in the midfield as we already talked about. Arsenal's attack was pretty toothless in this game, unfortunately, and the only goal they scored, as I said, was just a consolation anyway, so it didn't really even mean anything. So, speaking of that midfield. Arsenal didn't dominate possession in this game, which I suppose is not that surprising, but Manchester City ended up having the edge in terms of possession, 52% to 48%, and that certainly contributed to Arsenal being under pressure for most of the game and also not being able to create that many chances as well. So Arsenal definitely did a good job of winning the possession game in this match. What are your thoughts on those possession stats?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to have the majority of possession against Manchester City, a team that it's not only full of great players who are great at keeping the ball, but also plays in a style that focuses, well, to an extent, on keeping possession for long periods of time. But we need to have the ball more than that to create a lot of chances and stuff. And it was another one of our failures in this match.
Yeah, it's definitely disappointing. And of course, as you said, Manchester City typically dominate possession. They didn't in this game, but they still got more than enough and made it count in this game. So definitely something Arsenal will have to improve on for the rest of the season. So in terms of the manager rating, as you might guess, not particularly good this week. I gave Arteta 4 out of 10. There were a bunch of things that deserve mentioning. As we said, the team played with fear. I think the high defensive line against Manchester City was a mistake. I think more of a mid-block and really trying to prevent their midfield from operating properly probably would have been a better choice. Holding started and made a couple of defensive errors that led to Manchester City goals, so that was also not a good idea. And the subs that Arteta made, sensible, didn't really make an impact either. Quite a lot in terms of negatives when you look at the managerial side of things for Arsenal. Your thoughts on the manager rating and Arteta did in this match?
Yeah, I agree. It was poor from Arteta. Another poor managerial performance. Unfortunately, it seems that just as several of the players are struggling when the pressure is really on, it's at the highest point. It's been all season. Arteta's also been struggling a little bit. And you have to remember that he's, very new as a head manager. Hasn't really been in this situation before, just as several of the players haven't really been in this situation before, so it's difficult for him as well.
Yeah, I think lack of experience plays a part. I also just think injuries played a part in Holding. Wouldn't be starting really if Saliba or Tomiyasu were healthy, I don't think. As far as the high defensive line goes, we already tried that. We played Manchester City at the Etihad away, and that didn't really work very well. So I think Arteta should have learned from that. And yeah, like I said, with the fear factor, it was just that didn't prepare the team psychologically for the challenge of this match. So a good performance for him. Hopefully make some changes to the tactics and formation next match, and Arsenal can get a better result. But yeah, he didn't do too well in this match. So there you have it. Another really disappointing result this time. A defeat in a really important game. Arsenal is in a bit of a bad run right now, so hopefully they can turn around when they play Chelsea at home. Should definitely be able to win that ad match given all Chelsea's problems. They have quite a few. So hopefully Arsenal can get back to winning ways in that match and start another good run of form that lasts for the rest of the season.
I hope so.